Good morning. Let's start the daily discussion. First topic is political contribution disclosure, essential for fostering democratic openness and thwarting electoral fraud. So, contribution to political parties need to be disclosed. Who have contributed, how much has contributed. So, this need to be done to bring transparency and fairness in the electoral process. The end of the Supreme Court hearing on the challenge to electoral bond encourages a critical evaluation of the potential impact resolution of this case may have on democracy and the rule of law in India, given the current political climate and concern over political donations. Okay, because there is a case which has been had by the Supreme Court regarding the issue of transparency in the electoral bond. Political funding, what it is, financial contributions given to political parties or candidate in order to assist their campaign activities and general operation are read for as political funding or political donation. But it is when individual, businessmen, corporate houses, they contribute to political parties or candidates in order to assist their campaign activities and general operation. It is known as political funding or political donation. Political parties require political finance in order to run campaigns for elections, take part in democratic processes, and carry out their political operations. So, because financial requirement is there to carry on political activities, so funding is a need. So, Indian statutory provisions, the Representation of the People Act 1951, set forth the guidelines for election in India, including clauses pertaining to contributions, election expenditure, disclosure, and account management. Income Tax Act 1961. This law sets forth how political parties and their donor are treated tax-wise. Tax law must be followed. Excuse me. Tax laws must be followed by political parties and in some circumstances, people or organizations that donate to politics may be eligible for tax breaks. Those who contribute to political funding should also get tax breaks. That is why this also encourages some people to contribute to the party of their like because so they enjoy tax benefit from this. When they contribute something to the political parties, that way also they also get tax benefit from that. That is an encouragement for individuals and corporate houses and others to contribute donation to political parties. Okay. So, tax law must be followed by political parties, and in some circumstances, people or organizations that donate to politics must be eligible for tax breaks. Company Act 2031 The Companies Act requires the disclosure of political contribution in financial accounts and set a maximum amount that corporation can donate to political parties. So, because to remove the money power and the black money role in electoral funding, so the Company Act has also been amended in 2013, and it requires the disclosure of political contribution in financial accounts and sets a maximum amount that corporation may donate to political parties. Strategy for obtaining political capital. Individual Section 29B of the Representation of People Act permits taxpayers to claim a 100% deduction while permitting political parties to accept donation from individuals. State public funding. In this case, parties receive funding from the government for electoral related activities. There are two kinds of state funding. Direct funding. Political parties receive direct funding from the government. Direct fundraising is not allowed in India, though because in it right now the government is not funding election. Political parties are not receiving. Political party. So this is political parties. Directly, okay. State government never. So government of the state or the central government never count to any directly to the political parties in India. Indirect funding, other than direct sponsorship, indirect funding includes things like free media access that government gives, free access to public space for protest government gives, and free or heavily discounted transportation the government gives. In India, it is legalized with certain restrictions. Although in India, government is not directly funding the political parties for the election activity, but it is funding or supporting them indirectly in the form of free media access, free time in the prime time in the television, in the newspaper, or giving the space for conducting election meetings, etc. It is given. There are also expenditures which government gives subsidy or free of cost. Corporate funding, Section 182 of the Company Act 2013 governs donation made by corporate entity in India. Electoral bond scheme, a finance bill in 2017 established the electoral bond system, which went into effect in 2018. They provide a way for people and organizations to donate to officially recognized political parties while keeping donor anonymity. So here what happened? So people, corporations, business houses, including individuals, can contribute to recognize political parties through their bank account, through the electoral bond sold by the State Bank of India. And here, the donor's identity remains hidden or anonymity is maintained in donor's identity. Electoral Trust Scheme, the Central Board of Direct Taxes notified the public about the 2013 Electoral Trust Scheme. An electoral trust is a trust established by the businesses with the specific purpose of allocating to the political parties the contribution it has received from other business and individuals. Why is political funding disclosure required? Global standard on political funding disclosure, complete anonymity for political donors has been established by the modification made in India's Representation of People Act 1951 to allow for electoral bonds. Okay, so the People's Representation of People Act 1951 or the previous law, it was amended to allow donation or through the Okay. So regulation, this is a sharp contrast to global standard in political funding disclosure. Complete anonymity for political donors have been established by the modification made to India's representation of the People's Act 1951 to allow for electoral funds. This is a sharp contrast to international standards where complete disclosure of political contribution is the norm. Regulations requiring political donation is to be transparent between. Okay, this is a sub-interest interest standard where complete disclosure political contribution is the norm, but in India it is not. Regulations requiring political donation to the transparent have been in place all through the world, including United States since 1910. In 2014, the European Union implemented restrictions pertaining to financing of political parties in Europe. These regulations included donation cap, disclosure requirements, and the need for rapid reporting of substantial contributions, essential condition for political funding law. Globally, the majority of legal restrictions essentially center around two requirements for financing political parties: full disclosure of all donors beyond certain threshold and donation cap or limitations. Two things. One is full disclosure of all donors beyond certain threshold and donation cap or limitation. These steps are intended to preserve public trust in democracy and the political system while promoting openness and preventing corruption. Maintaining public trust, given that political parties are the cornerstone of representative democracy, it is essential that public disclosure of political finances take place. Maintaining public confidence in political parties and elected officials, defending the rule of law, and thwarting corruption in electoral and political process are all made possible by transparent financial statements. Because accountability is ensured by this transparency, the democratic ideals of justice and openness are strengthened. Avoiding inappropriate influence without transparency, money can be used by some as a means of exerting undue influence on the political system. Transparency aids in preventing corporate interest from appropriating politics and mass vote buying. Okay, then sustaining equitable conditions. When one party is able to obtain excess amount of campaign fund, the fairness of the political process is undermined. Equal chance are guaranteed for all parties through the disclosure. Because if you can say, so in the UP was ruling during the UP tenure. Okay, so Congress was the richest party. During the present NDA coalition, so BJP became the richest party. Among the state parties, at the top is Samajwadi Party, followed by the TRS, then is the BJD. And as per recent report, so BJP's means capital the fund has increased substantially. BJD's BJP at the center and the BJP at the center and the BJD's in the state. So their total financial worth has increased substantially. That means more and more contribution are coming to the political parties at present. When one party is able to obtain excessive amount of campaign funding, the fairness of political process is undermined. Equal chance are guaranteed to all parties through disclosure. Exemption from disclosure regarding the election bond program. The Union government has removed the requirement for political parties to reveal donations made through electoral bond by amending the Finance Act 2017. As a result, Voters will be unaware of the identity and level of funding provided to each party by any particular person, business, or organization. On the other hand, voters choose the representative of their community in parliament under a representational democracy. So what the Supreme Court say? Election Commission of India has been directed by the Supreme Court of India to furnish the latest information regarding the fund obtained by political parties via electoral bond. This is to be submitted to the Supreme Court through the by the Election Commission. This is the present ruling of the Supreme Court. The Indian Supreme Court has maintained for a long time that the right to freedom of expression includes the right to know, particularly when it comes to election, as it comes under Article 9 of the Indian Constitution. While reform in political funding are needed, electoral justice, ensuring that all facets of the electoral process comply with the law and protect the exercise of electoral rights, is essential to maintain the fundamental principles of democracy. This system play a crucial role in preserving and enabling free, fair, and authentic election, which are necessary for a robust democracy like India. Taking care of election bond scheme, the election integrity and democratic transparency are threatened by electoral bond, which permit the disclosure of donor information without restriction. Addressing this issue calls for a comprehensive strategy that goes beyond legality and concentrates on maintaining the democratic core transparency in the electoral process in addition to making them constitutionally sound. Coming to the conclusion, for a healthy democracy, it is absolute necessary that we have a law that ensure full publication of all donation made to political parties. Also, we need a separate legislation that mandates public disclosure of the identity of donor to political parties, candidates, or political foundation, which are above a certain normal limits. Then the next topic is international relation, ending of Israeli-Palestine conflict. Approximately half of all homes in the Gaza have been damaged or destroyed. According to the UN, and 1.3 million of the 2.3 million people who live in the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip have been forced to flee from their home. They have left their place. They have been forced to flee their home. Introduction: every war comes to an end, and the fight between the Israel and the Hamas will cease. The specifics of when and how are still unknown. However, action must be taken quickly when both sides win something important to them. That is one result of the war. This is probably how the Israeli-Hamas conflict will conclude. Without a doubt, Israel will prevail militarily. However, Hamas is likely to succeed in gaining a sizable rise in support from Arab populations globally, particularly in the occupied West Bank, because the Israeli has taken over their land, which was originally belonged to the Palestinians. The Palestinian power in decline. After 30 years in power, the Palestinian Authority has grown incredibly unpopular and corrupt. The most centrist Palestinian leader Israel could have ever dreamed for President Muhammad Abbas of the Palestinian Authority, has failed miserably to advance the goal of creating a state for the Palestinians in the West Bank. The advent of the Hamas, the terrorist arm of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, Hamas, was formed in 1987 with the intention of utilizing violent jihad to achieve its objectives. Hamas is regarded by the US government as a terrorist group, and in 2006, Hamas won the legislative election held by the Palestinian Authority when it forced Fatah out of Gaza Strip in 2007. It geographically divided the Palestinian struggle. Because in 2007, Gaza come under the control of the Hamas in the election, and they're able to remove the Fatah section. Then Palestine power in decline. After 30 years in power, the Palestinian Authority has grown incredibly unpopular and corrupt. Okay, And the President Hamas takeover of the Gaza Strip in 2007, an example that in the failure of this Palestinian Authority led by President Mahmoud Abbas led to the terrorist group taking control of a part called the Gaza Strip. 1987, tension in the occupied region of Gaza and the West Bank reached a breaking point, sparking a start of the First Intifada, also known as the Palestinian Uprising. It turned into a small-scale battle between Israel army forces and the Palestinian terrorists. The right under the UN Charter, Israel had the inalienable right of self-defense under Article 50 of the UN Charter. The same article stipulates that the state in question must notify the UN Security Council for its action after defending itself. It does not appear that this was completed because the Israeli action after completion must be intimated to the United Nations. In any event, using excessive or random force against civilians is not permitted under the right of self-defense. Almost 15,000 people died in Gaza during the Israeli assault. Most of them were women and children. According to a report, this is the death due to the Israeli action in the Gaza Strip. This century's death toll has not been this high. This extends far beyond the accepted custom of self-defense. Because in self-defense, more than 15,000 civilians, majority of them being women and children, have lost their life. Possibility of a two-state arrangement. In the meantime, the long ignored idea of a two-state solution has gained traction. It appears that everyone is reiterating the two-state slogan. However, how realistic is the two-state idea today? So the Oslo Accord of 1993 envisions Palestine's capital as being West Bank. At 4,000, 50,000 as of the most recent count, West Bank is largely populated by the Israeli settlement. There is no Israeli administration that can convince the settlers to come home. There could have been forced the terrain resembles Swiss cheese with countless towns and settler routes, and their plans were even more. No matter how little Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu will never accept a Palestinian state because this is the rationale for the two-nation solution when the Israel will accept Palestine state. But at present, the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is no way in a mood to accept this. Relevance of the Abrahamic Accord, the new state ought to be demilitarized in order to satisfy Israel's justifiable overreach about the security of its citizens. It is possible to consider other action to guarantee the security of the Israel. All of the Arab nations that border Israel ought to be involved in this process. The Abraham Accord offers a starting point. This is the only option if Israel wants to coexist peacefully with the Arab neighbors in the region. When that occurs, Hezbollah will also lose its primary justification for posing a threat to Israel, and Iran will lose its declared rationale for its tirade against Israel because if a two-nation solution is worked out, so a lot of issues that is emerging a threat for the global community will be over due to this two-nation solution. Israel-Palestine relations have been mad in a never-ending cycle of suffering, murder, and destruction for decades. The most recent example is the conflict in Gaza. It ought to be the final one. Finally, a stable peace and stability could be enjoyed by the people in Middle East. So this is what is the expectation right now. We should find a solution to the issue continuing since the end of Second World War. Then the ninth national level pollution response exercise. The Indian Coast Guard recently carried out the ninth national level pollution response exercise of the coast of Badinar in Gujarat. It is called the NAT Rolex 9. The National Oil Leak Disaster Contingency Plan provisions were invoked in order to respond to marine oil leak, and the NAT Rolex 9 successfully tested the degree of coordination and readiness among different sources agencies to do so. In addition to using air and surface platform, the ICG also used indigenous advanced light helicopters like MK3 Dornier aircraft designed for responding to maritime pollution and pollution response vessels and offshore petrol vessels in this particular operation. The occasion also demonstrated India's industrial might in terms of Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat initiatives. The Coast Guard has created four pollution response centers in Mumbai, Chennai, Pune, and other locations in addition to the creating the NOSDPC. The next topic is the food grains or the food items. The fruits, oilseed and pulses will not meet demand until 2030-31. According to a paper released by the Indian Council of Research and International Economic Relations, the National Bank for Agricultural Development, there will likely be a supply and demand mismatch in the upcoming years for commodities including fruits, pulses, and oilseeds. As a result, given the growing trend in the demand for oilseed, pulses, and fruits in the future, there is a need to boost their level of production and productivity. The consumption basket of people tend to diversify away from basic like rice and grains and towards nutrient-based dense high-value commodity like fruits, vegetables, and dairy products as per capital income as the per capita income rises. Production of oil seed is predicted to increase to 35 to 40 million ton by 2030-31. By 2025-26, the difference between the supply and the demand is projected to be widened to 3 million ton. The study illustrated the Commission for Agricultural Cost and Prices 2012 report proposal to increase import duty in order to safeguard Indian producers if the import price of crude palm oil drops below 800 US dollar per ton. If this is the situation, so the mismatch will lead to problems. So it is high time that they should think of either producing increase in the production or controlling over it. Second, hello. Second number button late message. Okay. The study restricted the Commission of Agricultural Price 2012 report proposal to increase import duty in order to safeguard Indian producers if the import price of crude palm oil drops below 800 per ton. That means see 80 rupees per liter. Because we have the oil palm mission, we have the national mission on oil seeds. This has led to increased production of oilseed in the country, and we are trying to reduce our dependence on foreign import to fulfill the demand for our edible oil requirement. The next is airline are warned by DGC about the false navigational signals. Following occurrences in the Iranian airspace and the US advisory, the Director General of Civil Aviation issued an advisory to Indian Airlines outlining mitigating steps to be taken in case of swapping or false navigational signals. The superstitious replacement of a true satellite signal that can cause a GPS receiver to output an erroneous position and time is known as GPS swapping. Developing contingency procedures in coordination with equipment manufacturers and assessing operational risk by conducting a safety risk assessment are just two of the many mitigation strategies that the DGC has offered in its circular. Air navigation service providers now have a way to set up a threat monitoring and analysis network for both proactive and reactive threat monitoring and report analysis thanks to the Director General of Civil Aviation. Then the Pampore saffron production of India, productivity in Pampore, the nation's epicenter for saffron, also known as red gold, farming has decreased. About saffron, the spice saffron is made from the flower of the Porcus uh, sativus plant, also referred to as the saffron crocus. The vibrant red stigma and styles known as threads are gathered and dehydrated, mostly to be used as food coloring and spice. The following are the primary problems affecting Pampori's saffron output: changes in climate, erratic pattern of rainfall, increase in the warmth, urbanization spreading upon saffron farms. Saffron farming has difficulty due to to inadequate funding for farmer education and irrigation. The main production producer of saffron are Iran, India, Spain, and Greece, with Iran holding the highest share in the global market to over 88%. Though India occupies the second largest area, but produce approximately 7% total world production of saffron. Then press mud, where from it comes out, sugarcane, milling train, packages to burn in boiler station. Then juice comes, juice tank, heater, the clarifier, the clear invoice to various process of production of sugar. There is the body was rotary vacuum filter and press mud. So comes out of the sugarcane industry. Okay. Press mud is a byproduct of the sugar industry in India, can be a valued resource for the manufacturing of compressed biogas or the CBG. What exactly is press mud and how it is made? Press mud is a leftover byproduct of the sugar industry. Press mud is a leftover byproduct of the sugar industry, sometimes referred to as the filter cake or the press cake. It is created when sugarcane is extracted or its sugar resume press mud is the solid residue that is left over after the sugarcane is crushed to extract juice. Other byproducts includes molasses and bagasse. Application by anaerobic digestion and subsequent purification, it can be used to produce compressed natural gas. Press mud has the capacity to produce 460,000 tons of compressed biogas, value at 2484 crores. It presents benefit like the cost effectiveness, concentrated sourcing, and a streamlined supply chain. On the other hand, difficulty includes growing press mud cost, rivalry for substitute applications, and storage problem. Intervention like simplified bioenergy regulations, pricing control system, and storage technology development are crucial to fully utilize these resources. But because India is a major producer of sugarcane and we have sugar factories, so this press mud utilization for creation of compressed natural gas is very viable in a country like India. Then come to the question, analyze the direct benefit transfer DBT program importance in India, emphasizing its effect on social justice and poverty eradication. So earlier all the government was given through cash has been discontinued. When the people have Jandan account, they have an identity called the Aadhaar and they have a mobile phone. Okay. So direct benefit transfer program in India has transformed the way government subsidy and social welfare programs are delivered, and it has gained international attention as a logistical marvel. The direct benefit transfer minimizes leakages and bypass middlemen by directly transferring benefits to the beneficiary's bank account. Through the use of digital public infrastructure, India's effort to promote social justice and reduce poverty have been greatly impacted by this evolutionary strategy called the direct benefit transfer or हस्तांतरित लाभ relevance of DBT. So because in India, government gives so many benefit to the people, stipend, subsidy, pension, etc. Earlier they are being given in cash, but right now government has decided to give it in kind. That through the account of the person open in the bank. That is called direct benefit transfer. The amount is directly transferred to the account of the beneficiary. So relevance, enhanced coverage and reach. The DBT has made government programs more accessible to millions of underprivileged households, guaranteeing that benefits are distributed equally to the intended recipients. DBT has been widely adopted as evidenced by report that 310 government schemes from 53 ministry have used it. So almost all are using the direct benefit transfer to give the benefit to the people directly to their account, reducing corruption and leakages. Traditional subsidy delivery system beset by corruption and leak without DBT has successfully reduced. DBT guarantee that benefits are directly transmitted to beneficiary by doing away with middlemen, which lowers the possibility of misuse and diversion, encouraging financial inclusion by forcing bank to link Aadhaar card to bank account. More than 45 crore bank accounts have been opened under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, which is right now across more than 50 crore, giving beneficiaries access to financial services and economic empowerment. Maintaining dignity and empowerment. Direct benefit transfer has enabled recipients to obtain their legitimate benefits without sacrificing their dignity by doing away with the need for middlemen and erroneous processes. Efficiency and cost saving. By streamlining the distribution of subsidies, the direct benefit transfer has cut down to overhead and inefficient operation. The deputy's economic efficiency is demonstrated by approximate 1.14% GDP saving it has produced. Then delivery that is specifically targeted, DBT has made it possible for the government to precisely allocate benefits to the intended recipients, guaranteeing that the most deserving people receive them. This has contributed to a decrease in fraud and misappropriation incidents. Then DBT, social justice and reducing poverty. DBT has created with a right-based approach to poverty in mind, starting with the Ralston idea of justice behind a carton of ignorance, justice being given to the people who are ignorant. Reducing inequality, DBT has helped reduce social disparity by making sure that the most disadvantaged and vulnerable group receive its advantage by bringing the wealth and poverty gap. Its focus strategy has contributed to the advancement of a more just society. Then encouraging okay, inclusive development by giving underprivileged population the tool they need to take an active role in economy and their own empowerment. The DBT has help to promote inclusive development by giving underprivileged people immediate access to benefit. DBT has enhanced their quality of life and promoted social justice because so it has the amount come to their bank account. Account became even functional, so they even are able to take a loan, fulfill their financial need, and all their needs are fulfilled right now. Improving access to essential services, DBT has made it easier for underprivileged population, in particular, to get access to necessities like food, healthcare, and education. Their standard of living has increased, and social inclusion has been encouraged. Nonetheless, a few of the major obstacles to DBT action in India are as follows. Exclusion effort and beneficiary identification. One of the biggest problem nowadays is accurately identifying beneficiaries. A major worry is exclusion error, which results in exclusion of eligible received more than 80 million in the PDS plan. Financial inclusion and access to banking services. In India, 23% of women and 20% of adults do not have a bank account. According to the World Bank Global Financial Inclusion Database. So these people who don't have a bank account are beyond the purview of this particular program. Challenges with digital literacy and technology. According to Oxfam, the Indian Inequality Report 2022, digital divide, only 13% of households in the nation possesses digital literacy. Furthermore, only 13% of the people in rural area utilize the internet compared to 67% people in the metropolitan areas. Grievance redressal and complaint resolution. Beneficiaries are becoming frustrated and disaffected as a result of the indirect grievance redressal mechanism. Okay, it is inadequate. Way forward, increasing the scope of DBT in order to guarantee that all qualified recipients receive their benefit directly. The DBT should be extended to include a large variety of government programs. So, beyond uh, the subsidized stipend, others should go from the DBT way, enhancing technology infrastructure to guarantee the efficient and safe distribution of benefits. The underlying technology infrastructure need to be continuously enhanced. Filling of the digital literacy gap to close the digital divide and enable recipients to make the most use of the DBT services. Digital literacy program should be implemented, taking care of the core causes of poverty. Although DBT offers short-term respite, long-term poverty reduction necessitates taking care of the core causes of poverty through work, education, and skill development. Then come to the MCQs. On the conclusion, direct benefit transfer dignity, but its capacity to use technology to effectively provide products and services to the underprivileged is what makes it so successful. It is a model that can be used to other sectors of the economy, like the legal system, to guarantee that all citizens receive justice. The DBT program has shown how technology may be used to address complicated social concerns and advance a more just equal society, even though there are still obstacles to overcome in this. But DBT is a very successful model launched in the country. Then consider the following statement about the respect of the press mud. It is an industrial byproduct produced from the buyer's process which burns bauxite into aluminum ore in the sugarcane industry. Due to its abundance in different micronutrients, it is highly beneficial for horticulture and crops. So, coming to the question, which of the statement is correct in respect to the above? So here the answer is, so statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. So answer is D. Now the following statement with respect to the loss and damage fund, it is a worldwide financial package designed to guarantee a recovery and restoration of the nations confronting the cumulative impact of climate change, right? First revealed in the Glasgow, Scotland during 20 COP27, right? The World Bank will change the chance of the fund. No, 1 and 2, so only 2 are correct here. Regarding the Calvaria dance, taking into consideration the following elements, the tribe of the same name performed this in Madhya Pradesh, folk dance, not Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. One is wrong. The representative list of this intangible cultural heritage of humanity as compiled by UNESCO include this dance. Two is correct, but one is incorrect because this is Rajasthan, not in Madhya Pradesh. The recently reported Asola Bhatti Wildlife Sanctuary is located in Delhi. With regard to the Pradhan Mantri Janjati Adivasi Nyam Mahabhijan PM Janman Jodhana, take into consideration the following claims. Its goal is to enhance the general welfare of the every tribal household by concentrating on necessities like the shelter, water, sanitary facility. That is right. Okay. Within the next 3 years, the mission would be implemented with the funding of 15,000 crore. No, it should be 24,000 crore. So two is incorrect. One is correct. This is for the PBTG. Okay. So this program is for the PBTG. Okay. So particularly vulnerable tribal group. Remember this very important program. So this program is for the PBTG. PBTG, which number is 75 in India. The number is 75 in India and 13, sorry, 13 PBTG in Odisha. The Juanga, the Saura, the Makaria, the Landia Saura are the primitive, particularly vulnerable tribal groups. This program is for the PBTG. It's the financial that tribal community origin, the Soliga, the Better Kurma, the Ania. So here only two are correct, only one. So only one is correct. Okay. So consider the following statement. It from India's 14th national electricity plan. The Central Electricity Authority is the one who produced the plan. That's it's not okay. So this is correct. By 2050, the plan was to triple India's capacity for renewable energy. So to get more from this, so only incorrect is at two, but one is correct. In light of the Golden Gate Declaration, consider the following statement. The Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation APEC Economic Leadership Forum issued a statement that is right. The proclamation includes the goal of the declaration is to develop sustainable and resilient AI for all. The proclamation includes Purtaja Vision 2040 and the aspires to create an Asia Pacific Community by 2040 that is open, dynamic, resilient. So only one and two are correct, three is incorrect. This is the following statement regarding the Hammer clandestine trading. It occurs when the security operation upon substantially higher than its trade at then quickly climbs to close to the opening price. It could be used as a preemptive intraday signal to point to the change in the bullish or bearish trend. So here only one is incorrect, but two is correct. That Sanjodia pagesi, it is a jellyfish. So thank you for watching. Keep watching regularly to update yourself on the development of the day